The next subject that we're covering is El Señor Biden. I want you to listen to this, and then let's go ahead and take it on the other side.
A few questions that I'd just like to get through because they are incredibly important to the Latino community. First of all, you are extending TPS, temporary protected status, to Venezuelans. Cubans, though, are now being deported in unprecedented numbers. Would you stop those deportations?
What I said, I'm going to look at entire temporary. I'm going to look at every single country in the world that, in fact, is being, and this guy's sending them back. The reason why I came up with Venezuela is he's not even allowing it to exist in the first place. And so the TPS program is something I will move on the first day I'm in office to make sure that we extend it to people. We look for too long, we didn't get it right. But here's the deal. I think that we should be extending it. Anybody can prove that they are in jeopardy to go back to their country, and the reason they came in the first place, they should be able to stay in the United States of America until the circumstance changes in their country. And that's why, by the way, I put that program together to provide. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Are you going to re-engage with Cuba, though? I mean, I'm specifically wondering about, the Florida communities that are, incredibly interested in the Cuba issue, and see status given to Venezuelans while Cubans are being deported.
The answer is yes. I'm going to engage. Yes. And by the way, what you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African-American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. You go to Florida, you find a very different attitude about immigration in certain places than you do when you're in Arizona. So it's a very diverse community.
Now, they are trying to make that statement by Biden a racist statement, or a statement somehow that he's saying that the African American community is an homogeneous community. First of all, if he had said black is, all black people are the same or something like that, I'll get it. But what he was saying is that African Americans are African Americans. They are people that are descendants of slaves in America, and they share a common interest. When you talk about Latinos, you're talking about Spanish-speaking people from Mexico, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, Honduras, and all these other places. They do not share the same sort of homogeneity that you have with African Americans. And let me shock folks a little bit. There's a movement called the ADOS movement, African Descendants of Slaves, okay? That's a movement in the United States. And, I support the movement. And one of my good friends said, yes, Egberto, you can be an ally, but remember, you're not ADOS. In other words, you're not one of us. You're not African American. You are Afro-Latino, Afro-Caribbean. I'm both Afro-Caribbean and Afro-Latino, but I'm not African American. So, it's all these distinctions that this country made to categorize people that create a certain kind of division. And when El Señor Biden says that, people go, oh, you can't really say that. I'm sorry. He's right. He is right. African Americans share a particular lineage that is completely different from Latinos, who share different lineages completely. African Americans have in general one lineage, and that is when they came here as slaves, or the ones that, free people are the ones up north or whatever. But Latinos, if you bring a Latino from Mexico and a Latino from Argentina, there is a complete difference. In fact, Latinos from Argentina have a tendency to be more European, and in fact, a lot of them have German descent that kind of, well, we won't go into that other factor that comes into the separation between the Chileans and the Argentinians versus the Latinos that are on the Caribbean coast, etc. There's a huge difference in Latinos altogether. Even between Mexican Latinos and Cuban Latinos. Very, very different. So, so while Donald Trump, I think Donald Trump showed an ignorance when he wanted to blow up what Biden had to say. But worse is when the media took it on, the first thing the media should have said is, guess what? The vice president, what he was stating was actually true. He wasn't stating that all African Americans have the same values or are the same. He was talking about lineage, and whereas and based on the previous what they were talking about, why would you treat a Venezuelan different than you would treat a Cuba versus a Mexican versus these different countries? These people are all Latinos, but they're all Latinos because America, in its identification of people, decided to call them Latinos in one big pail. But they're all different. I'm Egberto Willies, host of Politics Done Right, an independent news program. I post several news videos of interest every day. I ask you so kindly to subscribe to my channel, and please leave me some comments. Thank you very much.